Alright guys, Dylan here, back with more Watch Dogs Legion. It's next morning. It is already 11:37, but I plan on recording for the next couple hours. Also listening to the RGP.
And, you know, and Bray's just really good. Bray's really good at saying, you know, of course, yeah, that's what you guys are thinking. He doesn't really let out that much. You're just like, oh, well, you know, me and Austin are close, but, you know, I guess that's just like the house's impression. Like,
so
he's
not
very
much
good
update on.
at not really giving Kiefer that
Went to
much.
sleep, woke up, did a couple chores,
again, he's letting Kiefer feel still comfortable
in
like telling him all this stuff. You know, it's not like
and then also
Kiefer's now sussed out about
yeah, I guess I can talk about YouTube channel, which is still
running
remaining fairly consistent.
Yeah, the thing that frustrates me about
again,
Brayden
it's
is
growing
that
at a faster
he's
rate
clearly
than the previous What If
player
videos,
who is good socially,
solid.
and there are a few good social players in this game, but he just needs to be like more actively playing the game strategically, to like be a good player. And he hasn't been up until this point. It seems like this whole Austin business may be kicking him into gear a bit. In fact, I saw him talk this morning. He's been, you know, he's starting to do some stuff, but I'm still just concerned that, like, does he even know what he should be doing if he doesn't really know the show all that well? So. We'll see. I feel like there's potential there in Brayden, but I have a feeling it's going to go unrealized this season.
Yeah, there was a couple times I remember, like today and also like throughout the week, where him and Austin would be like, "Oh, should we be playing right now?
That was it.
Like play Big Brother? Should we try to
really
yeah, let's do that." And so, you know, obviously that should not be the main mentality for going into the house. You should not be like, "Oh, maybe I'll play Big Brother today, and then tomorrow I'll do an off day." Like, you know, Tony and Jeremy's like off day when you're playing the game thing. I think what I'm getting from Brayden, and I think Brayden's gonna be someone who's gonna stick around.
So, I mean, everything's
for a little
about
bit,
the same.
Although I don't know if he has it 100% in him to, you know, win the game at the end of the day.
I'm gonna try to edit the top 10 video, Big Brother top 10 tonight. Also watch Circle and Big Brother Canada tomorrow.
Or start turning on
I will work later in the day, but in the morning would like to play Watch Dogs.
It's not going to work as is, and he's probably going to lose Austin along the way, which would probably be a good
Wednesday,
thing for him.
I have the job fair to go to, so I'm going to be doing that.
We'll see where it goes. So Tina and Tara are going to talk a bit. They
probably going to work on editing a video at night, though. At the same time, there's obviously the challenge. There's
and now they're feeling
Big Brother Canada, and there's a Circle, so
are going to be mad at them too, because they're not stumping for Kyle and Rowe with Kiefer, and so they're kind of feeling like this whole middle game is a tough business for Tina and Tara. And Tara really says, like, we gotta win next week. That's what we gotta do. It's like, that's the point of the middle, is you don't have to win.
I will say, though, what I'm liking so much about this season is that it's not really, you know, people in the beginning were saying, oh, this is just like BB6 or BB20, where it's just these two sides that are really duking it out. But I really think that the game at this point is going to be a lot more fluid. You know, I think the oddballs kind of really doesn't exist that much anymore, and the sunsetters are kind of crumbling. So now it's a lot more fluid. So I'm excited for the middle part of the game. You know, where Tina and Tara are kind of in the middle, and so again, like you're saying, they shouldn't want to win because the game is so fluid now. But I don't really know if they're seeing it that way. They might still be seeing it more as, you know, like this is the two-side game, and we need to win for our side. You know.
Where the hell is he?
They're in kind of an interesting spot here. Kiefer's going to tell them that they should start working on getting closer to Austin and Brayden. I imagine because he feels like he's going to sort of lose out on that relationship. So if Tina and Tara are in with them, that's probably a good thing. They are going to start doing that. Yesterday, they're going to be talking with them a bit, and they've already been talking with them again this morning. And there's even been talk of like reuniting part of the oddballs. So that is becoming a thing as well. But again, I wanna just like again preface this update by saying that with everything that was going on yesterday, like this is like an intermediate. This is a temporary update. This is none of this. I doubt if I were to make a guess, I would tell you that by Thursday of this week, 75% of what I say today will not stick.
It'll be out the window.
It's just like throughout the day, things were changing multiple times in terms of who people were targeting, who was loyal to who. Like this is, it's just a mess of messiness right now, and I think that really what we need to do is just kind of like wait and see how things play out and where things start to solidify. Because as of right now, it's just a huge, just like everything's been thrown into the stew, and we're just waiting for it to cook.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's a lot of it is just because emotions.
Yeah, I'm back to thinking that I'm probably not going to make any, like, I'm pretty much guaranteed to not make any money this week on the stopwatch, I feel like, at this point. I'm just hoping I don't lose any. I think I might still lose some, though, which is kind of annoying, but whatever.
And I feel like everyone in the house is really,
because I'm looking at Braden right now as a 4, which means I probably lose, like, I think it's like 16 or 17%, which isn't terrible, but it's like still not great, honestly. Well, essentially what I'm hoping for now is just that no one else goes up. Or at least, like, the big people don't go up. Like, I'm hoping that Tina goes down to 6. That'd be ideal.
Can actually do that.
Right, and it's also because it's like, because nobody was sure who the replacement nominee was going to be, and like what it meant and who was saying who should be on the block, it's like, until the ceremony happens and the nominations are locked in, and they start discussing this is what the vote is going to be, like, you know, people like Kyle Rowe, Austin Braden, people who are kind of in the dark about it, don't really know how they're going to react because they didn't know what it was going to be, and so they're sort of reacting in different ways, and that means that the other players who, even if they did know what was going to happen, are like, well, we don't know how other people are going to react. This is how they're reacting right now, and this is how we feel
I care
right
about this
when
game.
they react differently, we're going to feel differently, and so it's, again, I think we have to wait until the ceremony. I would say by tomorrow, by Wednesday, we'll start to have a much better idea of what we're looking at heading into the next HOH, which will probably still be some kind of this side wins, they're targeting these sets of people, this side wins, they're targeting these sets of people, but I don't exactly know what those sides will look like at the moment.
How do we get them back?
If I were to guess, I'll make a guess after I get through the update, because there's some things that will inform what my guess is right now.
Yeah, I would agree, yeah.
So anyway, Kiefer's also
this really is a crazy house, Big Brother Canada. I mean, like, I haven't been following it nearly as much as I normally would, but
Keith tells Roe that he wants to go with house
just based on, like, how many different conversations
Roe really tries to get the point across to Kiefer that he is, I'm a rational player, Keith. He is,
What, are you kidding me? I'm the most calm, cool, and collected person in this house.
Yeah, and so he says no matter what happens on a personal level, on a game level, he's always going to make the rational choice. He also mentions that he hates it when people just vote for their friends in the end when they're on the jury. That is not him. He's going to vote for the best player. He's going to respect the game. Kiefer agrees, but, you know, this agreeing is not the same as saying it, right? And so Kiefer says, look, I'm feeling like I'm being pressured into putting up one person because people keep coming in here and telling me that they think I should do something because there's one person who's on a lonely island, and you know, that makes me feel like they're telling me that if I don't do what they think I should do, that they might come for me. And Rose's like, well, that's not what I'm telling you. I will just tell you just my thoughts. If I were you, is I agree. Putting up somebody who is by themselves and not in a pair is probably a good idea. But I'm not saying that I'll come for you again. I'm a rational player. And Keith's like, well, it still kind of feels like you're trying to make me do the thing that you want me to do. And Rose's like, nah, absolutely not. And it's just like these two people could not be on further pages apart.
Yeah, I love these kind of conversations.
Oh, yesterday ended up being a pretty good day for the channel. 5,300 views, which is pretty good for a Sunday.
Or just like the island word, which I feel like I've heard before. Like I remember, like I think like it's been identified now that like Kyle said that.
Oh, it looks like, is it finally
like
fixed?
Braden said that, or maybe it was just like Roe and Austin.
Yeah, it looks like it's finally fixed. Yeah, I've been talking about this. YouTube recently has had this glitch where it says like last 28 days on the analytics, like it's been showing last 29, and like the stats have been fucked for the last bit. Looks like it finally got fixed now.
Because everyone else has a pair. I don't know. That was something that stuck out to me. That was just interesting. That this happens in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing too, where it's like the people in this game don't understand that they don't have a say in what the HOH does. Like, they keep going up to the HOH and being like, here's what you should do. And they feel like if enough people tell the HOH that they think that the HOH should do a thing, that the HOH will do that thing. It happened last week with the Sunsetters to Vic. They were like, well, if we all go up to Vic and tell her to put up Kyle, she'll definitely put up Kyle. So they all did, and then they all got caught saying Kyle's name. And now this week, it's the opposite. Where all the oddballers were like, look, if we go up to Keeper and tell him to put up Vic, then he'll put up Vic. And it's just like, the HOH is asking for what my thoughts are. Well, here are my thoughts. Put up Vic. It's like,
So this is report that
that is a trap.
Last of Us series
What you think.
will lift dialogue from game while deviating from story.
You are just walking straight into a hole. And this is Big Brother 101. This is the most basic form of how to play Big Brother, is that you get HOH, and then you go, what do you think I should do? And then you use that information to bury people. And so, to fall into that trap, not once, not twice, but so many times over the course of the last few days, and then also encourage other people, hey, do you see this trap? It's a great looking hole. I'm sure there are no spikes at the bottom of it. Would you please kindly just jump into it with me? I feel like it'll be a great idea. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the type of thing where as soon as a lot of people come up to you about this one thing, it's like, this thing is probably best for your game, but it's not going to be best for my game. And Kiefer is someone who is very, very, Kiefer is self-interested, even though he says, I'm just going with what the house wants. He's just saying that. Obviously, Kiefer's going to want to go with what he wants, not even with what, Jed and Ty want. So, it is, Kiefer, we're going to see a lot in this week, and just even in today, he's kind of like, he wants to be treated like the Godfather or something like that. He wants people to come into the HOH and really kiss the ring. But, and so I think Roe is not really doing a good job of doing so. He's kind of just telling Kiefer, here's what like a smart person should do. Here's what a good player should do. But Kiefer, in Kiefer's head, is like, who's the smart player? Is it you or is it me? I'm the smart player. I'm gonna be the one to put up whoever I want. So yeah, this is totally, of course, gonna backfire in Roman and Kyle's face.
Is there a way we can get him back?
Exciting.
Oh, just time.
And this is what I mean when I say
that's
that,
really dumb.
People are just taking the HOH.
I guess it isn't, but it's like, it is. I mean, like, so that's how permadeath works, and turning permadeath off.
Roe's gonna talk with Kyle after this, and Braden's gonna join, but they're just talking about, like, Roe's like trying to interpret the things that Kiefer said to him. It's like, he's saying that there have been a lot of people that are pitching one name to him. He said nobody's pitching Vic other than us. And he said that a lot of people have been pitching Austin, and he said that he doesn't want to get blood on his hands. Like, who's telling him he's getting blood on his hands? And they're like trying to figure out, like, what is, they're trying, it's like they think that he gave them a riddle to solve. And it's just, no, he's just BSing. He's just saying whatever he needs to say to get you out of his room, to get as little blame on himself as possible. It's not that deep, but like they feel like they need to somehow fit reality into the puzzle of what Kiefer said, which like, again, it implies that they think that Kiefer is withholding information from them and trying to deceive them in some way. but still must be giving them glimmers of truth. But it's like, no, not necessarily.
Yeah, Kiefer literally says in that conversation, like, the people who've said, to put up Vic to me are just you, Kyle, and Austin. You guys have been the ones saying this same name, And so it's like, now I know, like, you outlined who you're working with. So you can even later on try to say you're not working with Austin. But if the people who are saying Vic to me are this group of people, they're probably working together, So again, they're just kind of outlining who they're working with, even though they're trying. They think they're doing a good job of hiding it, even though they're clearly not. But this conversation is not. Again, it's not really working out for Rowan, I would say.
Yeah. So the theory they come up with, and Braden comes in and tells them a little bit of what Kiefer said to him as well. The theory that Rowe comes up with is like, well, it must be. If he's saying that other people are pitching for Austin to go up, it must be Ty, Jed, and Beth that are pitching for Austin to go up. If Ty, Jed, and Beth are pitching for Austin to go up, and this is what I was talking about before at the start of the update, it doesn't make sense for them to be pitching for somebody to go up as a pawn. So they must be pitching for Austin to go up as the backdoor target, which is pretty ridiculous, except a few days ago, they were pitching for her to go up as the backdoor target. So I can't be too judgmental here of Rowe. But that is what he's starting to think here a little bit. And so those guys are snakes. And so now Ty, Jed, and Beth talking about throwing the veto to Rowe and Kyle to get some brownie points, have now completely exposed their position to Rowe, Kyle, Austin, and Braden, because now Kiefer is nominating Austin, and now everything's coming out. This was such a terrible decision to want these one of the people to come off the block. It was just a total bad decision. Kyle says, if I leave this week, you cannot trust those guys.
Yeah, again, just keep it simple, stupid. Like, sorry to say that, but it's true. Just, there's no need to, go out of your way to develop all these plans. Like, it doesn't really make that much sense. But I guess when you're in the Big Brother house, all this paranoia will just build and build and build and build and build, and then you don't know what way you're looking at. But that's the fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Braden's going to go to Austin and let Austin know what Kiefer told him, and that Rowe thinks that she might be the target. And she starts to physically shake and starts spiraling out of control. She is not going to be, I think, a player that handles adversity very well. She starts to panic. She goes into the bedroom to be by herself. And then when Jed comes in, she starts crying, and that is gonna be a whole thing. And Kiefer's gonna be like, I can't believe she's crying. She did this to me, it's a big mess.
Yeah, all day we're gonna get Austin being like, oh my god, I'm gonna vomit. Oh my god,
literally, I'm going to vomit.
Which, and she's gonna say later on that, she's crying to, play up the fact, and she does, and eventually, fake cry, but, Austin is still not really handling this well. She's saying she's playing up the crying, but she's saying that because she is gonna cry regardless. She's very emotional.
She was alone with Braden, and he was like, oh my god, you're physically shaking right now, and she's on the verge of tears, I'm gonna vomit. And then later she's like, yeah, I was fake crying to people. Austin,
no.
Come on.
Yeah, no. That is not what was happening, Austin. But it's still fun to see Austin, get this freaked out over this, because this is what they want. They want Austin to be this freaked out, even though, again, their plan, Kiefer's plan is not really working that much, because this is Austin's first kind of clue that, maybe I am going to go up. Because, if Kiefer's saying, I'm just going with what the house wants, and everyone's saying, yo, put up Victoria, Kiefer, and then Austin's still kind of hearing that, she might go up, I think, this shows that Kiefer's plan is not really working out that well in his favor if Austin's getting a clue of the fact that, her game might be in trouble right now.
Tina, Tara, and again, Ro and Kyle have had a lot of conversations with Tina and Tara about, you gotta say Vic is a bad person and that we're really cool people and that you would want to hang out with us and Kiefer should hang out with us and that he shouldn't put us on the block and he should put Vic on the block. And he's having another one of those conversations with Tina and Tara just loses it. She's like, what more do you want me to do, Ro? What do you want me to do? I've been talking to them plenty. And he's like, I just wanted you to say Vic. That's it. That's all I wanted.
Yeah. Again, because I think this is all kind of Ro and Kyle have at this point. They need Tina and Tara to get this, but Tina and Tara are just. They're not hearing it, and I think this is not great for Ro and Kyle. I honestly think that this is gonna this might be the downfall of Ro and Kyle. But if they keep on trying to nudge Tina and Tara this much, trying to really poke at them, be like, hey, come on, are you guys with us? Are you guys gonna do this for us? And if they keep on picking at them, I don't know if this is gonna really work out.
Yeah, this is like, have you done it yet? Have you done the thing yet? Yeah, I've done it a few times. Well, okay, but it's just that like nothing has changed yet. So like, are you sure you've done it? Did you do it right? What if you do it this way?
And it's just like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say to this guy? Like, we've tried this. Please, just get off our backs. Please, for the love of God.
And now the real anger comes from the fact that they have not been doing a thing and they don't want to get caught having not been doing a thing. But that's, they're trying to play off the, get off our backs. We've been trying. But Tara is pissed, and so Tara's gonna go to Vic, and of course Vic has been told by Kiefer and them.
Is this the one I already have?
That like, hey, they're throwing you under the bus, and she hasn't been happy about it. But it's really when Tara comes in that things really start to go off here, because Tara tells Vic that, hey, Kyle and Ro have been pitching for you to go up. They're trying to make us pitch that you need to go up. I'm getting annoyed with it, and Vic is like, oh my God, I'm gonna go confront them. Tara's like, well, you don't need to do that. She's like, I want to go blow up on them right now, but no, I'm trying to lie low. This week. I need to be under the radar, but I do want to say something. But I shouldn't say anything. And then Ro pokes his head in the middle of this, and she like gives him a look, and he's like, are you okay? She's like, yep. Are you sure? Like, what's going on? She's like, nothing's wrong. I mean, are you throwing my name out there to try to get me on the block? He's like, what? No. What? Of course not. She's like, oh, okay. All right.
That's different.
Just a vibe I'm getting, but
getting. He's like, yeah. Where did you hear that? Just vibe, just getting a vibe.
And then as soon as Rowan leaves, she's just like, oh, he's a liar. He's a liar. Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
I love the juxtaposition all day and just kind of like all this week where Vic is really just trying to be like, I'm just going to lay low this week. I'm just trying to lay low after what I did last week. I'm just trying to lay low. Even though all day everyone's like, Victoria's going to blow up tonight. Like she's going to start some drama. She's going to start a fight. If not today, then tomorrow before the ceremony. Like, it shows that, maybe it's impossible for Victoria to really lay low. But it's funny to just hear her being like, oh yeah, no, I'm just really trying to lay low this week. And then as soon as someone says something to her, she's like, oh my God, all right, that's it. I'm blowing up. House meeting tonight. We're gonna all duke it out because I'm sick of this. It's a funny dichotomy. And honestly, I don't think she should lie low. I don't think she can lie low. I do not think
that Vic is as skilled a player as she thinks she is, but I do think that she needs to lean in to who she is. And I think that this sort of like, hey, she's going to be somebody that calls people out. She's going to be somebody that confronts people, that is always flipping and gaslighting constantly and lying all the time, and changes allegiances based on the newest information that she received. Yes, that is a very dangerous player, and in most Big Brother games, she'd be gone in an instant. But in this house, she can be valuable because people. Everybody in this house is so scared of being out in front. If she embraces that role and she stands out in front, then she may be, as long as she gets lucky without HOH outcomes like she did this week,
she
may be kept around as kind of this big shield.
Okay,
it's kind of the Rachel Riley effect of Big Brother 12. And Rachel got a lot further than she maybe otherwise would have. And then something kind of similar happened in 13, but it is very different. We're not going to compare it to that. But like, if you occupy the space in a house where everyone else wants to lie low, everyone else wants to be invisible because the house is so fluid that everyone is in danger, then people will keep her around for a little while. And then she might have a chance to like comp out or something, and then there's a chance that as if she doesn't burn enough bridges, then maybe they respect her enough to give her the win in the end because she was so out in front. I think that is, I want to say right now, I don't think anybody cannot win this game. This house is way too fluid for anybody to be completely out of it, and I think that Vic's path forward is lean in to the bombastic calling people out strategy, because Vic trying to lie low, trying to play anybody else's game, trying to play any kind of game is going to fail.
Yeah, I think I think the Sunsetters are really trying to, nestle in Victoria into this, Josh Martinez spot where, she's really, bombastic and, again, out in front. But the difference here, I think, is that Josh was basically, right until the end, 100% loyal to Paul. Kind of did whatever Paul wanted. While I think if Victoria wins another HOH, it's basically whoever gets in her ear first, and whoever's able to convince her of whatever she wants to believe to happen, she'll kind of go with that flow rather than being 100% strictly loyal to what the Sunsetters are doing. So it's kind of like, you're like holding on to a ticking bomb. You're like passing this bomb back and forth, like the different alliances. And so it's basically whoever gets the bomb last, and then they're going to explode. I think that's kind of the big spot that Victoria's in. So she's both a good person to have in the house because she's a big shield, but also she might blow up in your face.
Mm-hmm. I do think Zach Rance is another decent comparison there. There's definitely, like I said, I feel like that's the path forward for Vic. And it's definitely, this was not what she wanted this week, but it is where she has ended up this week. So we'll see where that goes. Vic is going to then approach Ro and Kyle and say, guys, you throwing out my name? What's going on? She's going to confront them. This is not much of a confrontation because it's pretty low key.
Did they reset it?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's some bullshit. Okay.
I don't know what's happening. Honestly, when I watched this, I didn't hear them ever actually, because I was paying attention. I was like, wow, they're not even denying.
Did we do it then?
They're just straight up like, oh, we're just confused. But she comes away from this conversation like, I can't
I'm a fucking idiot. I just
the audacity. She calls it the audacity. The audacity of these two. They claimed they had never said my name ever. And I was like, I didn't actually hear that. It's possible that they did. Feeds cut all the time and maybe we missed something. But it was something that I had noted that they didn't even seem to be denying it at all. But she is like, I cannot believe that they denied it. And this is just another one of those situations where I don't know where Victoria is on this. If it happened that they denied it, or if it didn't happen that they denied it, but she thought they did, or if it didn't and she's just making up I don't know. But either way, she is now extremely pissed, extra pissed at Kyle and Roe, and she now has a new plan, which is at the veto ceremony, she is going to be calling out Kyle in I'm assuming the same vein as the way that she called out Beth after the eviction that we still haven't seen yet.
Yeah, and again, this is something that's good on Kiefer and Ty, who are really, right before she, called out Roe and Kyle, they were really
okay, look at that, it's not spawning in.
Maybe you should call them out, and maybe you should go do that. And they were really revving up those engines, really trying to get her to go ahead and do it. And so I think that was a good plan. And afterwards, after she left, Kiefer and Ty, they were both dying laughing, like, oh my God, wait, I can't believe she's about to do this.
She's doing all her dirty work.
Which I think, again, that was a pretty good move. And again, that's how you can really weaponize someone like Victoria. If you can kind of get her in this emotional state, she'll just kind of go off on whoever, you want her to. But yeah, with that whole Roe and Kyle, debacle, after she blew up on them and then she left, Roe and Kyle were both just so stunned, like what were we even supposed to say to that? Like, I don't know. Like we have no options. Like, I don't even know. Like, they're kind of dejected. I don't know. It's kind of sad to watch them this week a little bit, especially with how things went last week. And we're like, oh, maybe they'll have a good foot forward in the game. But now they're kind of just like, oh man, this sucks. We're out of options at this point. It's kind of sad to see it a little bit.
The house really is starting to shift against Roe and Kyle now. And again, this house is very reactive to power and where power is and where power isn't. And now that it's very clear that Kyle and Roe are on the outs, that Kyle will be going on this week, even if they're, no matter who the replacement nominee is going to be, that they've lost Vic, that they've lost Tina and Tara, they are basically out on their own. The entire house is going to start to move in that direction, and that includes Ty, Jed, and Beth, who previously had been so scared of Kyle and Roe, so worried about offending them in any way. They are now coming around to the idea, okay, let's not miss our shot. Let's take out Kyle. Let's make this happen. And especially, I think now that they feel, I think the Vic thing is what really solidified it for them, which is that, like, okay, Vic is going to go off on Kyle and Roe. Vic is going to do our dirty work. She's going to take the heat. Okay, now, behind the shield of Victoria, we can take a shot at Kyle and Roe. And so, but they still don't trust Austin. Austin is still on their radar. But Beth kind of still does think that she can work on Austin and Brayden. And there's a little bit of conflict there. Beth has talked to Jed yesterday about, like, what would you do next week? She would probably put up something like Tina and Tara with, like, maybe like a Vic backdoor situation. And he would maybe do the same, except with Austin and Brayden. And so there's a little bit of, like, disagreement on, like, which pair would you target, Austin, Brayden, or Tina, Tara? And Vic is always kind of like an expendable, whatever. But that's sort of where they are with that. But I think that also, again, this is all just so temporary, because where does Roe fall in all of this? Does Roe blow up his own game this week? Is Roe going to be targeted at some point? Will Vic end up being targeted even more so? Who knows? Will Kiefer get into their ear about not targeting Tina, Tara?
Oh my God.
Will Austin and Brayden start building relationships?
So I guess we're relying on auto aim
with the guys, which has been, part of what they've been trying to do. There's just too much that is still up in the air right now, but again, that's sort of where they're standing at the moment.
Yeah, and even to add to that, Beth, like you were saying earlier, like Beth is saying, like, oh yeah, I can work on Austin, I can bring in, Austin and Brayden, and we might be able to take out Tina and Tara instead. But we're gonna hear Austin later say that if I win HOH, I'm putting up Beth 100%.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that is, I mean, Austin and Braden talked about throwing the HOH. They talked about going after Tina Terra, and then toward the end of the night, they were back around on, okay, the trio, Ty, Jed, and Beth are super dangerous, but then we're definitely putting up Kiefer if we win, and so like they talked about many things, but Beth was definitely one of the options talked about for sure. Beth I mean, and the thing is too that Beth knows that Austin still can't stand her, but she still feels like, no, someday I'll be able to break through. And I think it's really the Braden connection, because Braden is able to pretend that he likes her, that is keeping her around here. So Kiefer is going to talk with Austin. He's still, this is when it should have happened, maybe even a little bit earlier. But this is when he should have just been like, yeah, you're going up. You're going up. I've been hearing a lot about, from different people. I've been hearing different people's opinions, and ultimately I've decided that you're the one that's gonna go up. You did do this to me. So hopefully, I do not mean to send you home. I will be doing everything in my power to make sure that you stay, so on and so forth. But instead, he just gives her this sort of like wishy-washy, like, yeah, I'm not sure yet, but don't worry, I'll tell you before. You'll be safe if something does happen, but I still just need to hear from some more people. If the feeds are down for the ceremony right now, like people are speculating in the chat, then I think he may not have ended up telling her and confirming to her before, unless he does it when the feeds are down, which she is upset about because she knows that she's going on the block at this point. And just this morning, she was like, he said he would tell me. He still hasn't told me.
Yeah, like the Keeper's whole approach is one that is a little bit good, but also like maybe a little bit bad too. Because he's kind of just beating around the bush on the whole thing. She just wants a straight answer. She's just like, "Am I safe?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." And she's like, "All right. Am I going up?" And he's like, There's one for that, for sure. And so because of that, again, he's going with the approach that, he's just a loyal soldier following what the house wants, what his allies want. And so because of that,
I know we're over 30 minutes because I fucked up so bad
under the bus just a little bit. And so Austin's going to get a sense of that, which I think is good for Kiefer because, Jed and Ty don't really have Kiefer's best interest at heart. They tried to vote him out last week, so to be able to kind of throw your, these allies under the bus just a little bit and deflecting all the blame off of you is, I think, a good choice. But again, his approach is kind of just like he's not really going at her as a straight shooter or as like a good sociable player, and it's kind of just making Austin uncomfortable. And so she clearly knows from this conversation, I might be screwed this week. I'm going up for sure.
For the longest time, I've been using
Tina and Tara are actually going to be the ones to confirm you're going up. So why won't he just tell me? And so Tina and Tara are going to kind of propose to Austin and Braden that like, hey, we need to stay together. We need to stay strong. This oddballs thing clearly it's going to get broken up a little bit. But we can come back together after all of this ends, right? And we need to. Everyone's talking about pairs, but Ty, Jed, Beth, that's a trio, and they are so strong. They are so dangerous in this game.
Oh, that is one.
And
okay,
so the Tina Terra Austin Braden connection is there a little bit. They're trying to make sure that can stay intact. And so again, this is what, like, things are shifting so much, but at the end of the day, it seems like my guess would be that things will basically fall back into place. That Ty, Jed, and Beth will be competing for HOH on one side. Tina, Tara, Austin, Braden, Bro, I think, will be competing on the other side. And then Vic is probably at the moment with the Sunsetters side, and would be targeting Ro and maybe Austin, but you know, hard to know exactly. But I'm guessing that this is going to fall to a 50-50 again-ish, except the former oddballs are going to have the advantage, because I do think Tina and Tara will be trying to compete in this one, and I feel like they will be going after the Sunsetters again at the moment, just because they are a bit too dangerous to be left in the game right now. So we'll see. Again, this is the best guess I have at the moment. Things will solidify over the next few days, and we'll have a much better idea of what might happen in the next week as we start to see all of that.
Yeah, I think this conversation was great. I think it was able to show that, you know, the Oddball Alliance is able to go on without Kyle and Rowe, and that Tina and Tara are going to kind of, because they were kind of in the middle before, but now we know that, you know, they might take the place of Kyle and Rowe in a sense, where, you know, they're going to kind of be working with Brandon and Austin and kind of solidifying that other side. So I think ultimately, you know, it was a good, you know, solidifying combo that I think has already been had before, but it's just strengthened it. So again, going into next week, we don't know what is going to happen. It just depends on whoever wins HOH, obviously. But I like that there's not one clear, like, 100% target for next week. So yeah, that's what's fun about Big Brother.
And that's the thing too. Even if it does end up being the way I'm guessing, and there are two sides, and it's like 4-4 or, you know, 4-3-1 or whatever it's going to be, who ends up being put up and who ends up being targeted is also up in the air. It's also dependent on which person on which side wins. Like, Beth would probably not target Austin, Brayden, not put them on the block, whereas, you know, Jed might.
Oh, as always, podcast.
Hello everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to the...
That's you.
Like, you know, Austin Brayden would probably go after Kiefer Beth, whereas Tina Tara
10-minute segment of James
and so it's really all over the place, even if the guess is right, and it might not be right, and it might be completely different by Thursday. So it's very, very messy here in the Big Brother Canada 9 house. Phil, anything else that you wanted to bring up from yesterday?
No, I think we kind of covered everything. We talked about audacity, which I thought I was just dying laughing at all day. Just the audacity. So we brought that up. And so, yeah, I thought, yeah, we basically covered just the mess that was today.
Perfect. All right. Well, that's what we have for you today for the update. We'll be back tonight to recap tonight's episode, where
actually, let's go ahead and listen to the As Always podcast, because
after the eviction, and then we'll see what else we get from tonight's episode. I will also be live on Twitch.
I care about Watch Dogs.
To watch the episode live with you guys if you want to join me, and that's what we have tomorrow. Of course, I'll be live tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Podcast. I'm your host James, and I'm joined, as always, by Tyler.
As always, how's it going, my friend?
I'm doing pretty well. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Excited to be here, as always. There's a lot going on. A lot of things I want to talk to you about. So I'm particularly excited for today because we all know I'm a boomer, and I don't know things. You know, apparently I'm incompetent and can't use technology, and it's hilarious to you that I even created a YouTube channel. Like the physical act of creating a YouTube channel to you makes you laugh. So
yeah, so you're typing out your username, you're like, oh man, what do I call it? 83 follower, that sounds good. Sick ass. Yeah.
Why do I have a lisp when you're doing that?
Malik,
Giving me a lisp.
I'm 80 follower, man. Sick ass.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look. There's some things going on in the community, and I think we should just get right into it. I want to know. I want to know what's going on with fucking Twitch. This whole new world of our community, this new journey we're taking, this new takeover, I'll call it. Let's be honest with ourselves. We're taking over. You're on Twitch.
Next episode.
Ethan's on Twitch. Elva's on Twitch. A bunch of other community members are on Twitch. And I don't know, and I thought of, like, it's like YouTube, right? It's just you stream games on it. Like, what else is there to it? Like, surely it's just this other platform people just happen to stream on, and that's where a lot of people go because that's where they watch streams because they know what they're going to get out of it. But the way I hear everyone talking about it, it's like some revolutionary new thing.
Yeah,
like, it has so much more
like
to it,
10
and
years
there's
now.
so much more cool shit to it. I'm like, how? What are you talking about?
See, this is the thing that
James,
I don't like about the Four Pillars community, is the fact that they seem so fucking close-minded on things to where it's like, they completely neglect something until like one person within their community does something, and then they all fucking jump the bandwagon on it and talk about how great it is after like having bashed it or ignored it for like all the time beforehand. It's so funny to me, but whatever.
What the fuck Twitch is? Because I've never actually watched Twitch in my life, so which is a surprise to no one. Let's be honest with ourselves as well.
I think you're an avid Twitch viewer. You're always on Twitch.
Yeah.
Tyler's a Twitch frog, as they say.
I watch Ninja. Is that right?
He is a Twitch streamer. He is. Yeah. We like
So
Ninja.
Yeah.
So.
Just sluts.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Ninja from Fortnite.
Yeah, and of course, before we even do, we've got to thank the great people over at patreon.com/asalways. If you like what you're listening to here and you want to hear or see if you're watching on YouTube more, head over to patreon.com/asalways. For just $1 a month, you get exclusive access to the Clubhouse podcast, the best podcast on the internet. There's over 100 episodes for you to stream right now for just $1, plus other cool perks, bonuses, and rewards.
Next,
so to thank our producers, we have Tristan Weaver.